But let's get you the very latest now with our political editor who is in Durban and joins us, Mzwandile Mbeje. Mzwandile, good evening to you and welcome. Well, what's happened over the last hour?
Well, a very good evening to you, Iman, and the viewers. I just want my colleague Tulani Ngobo to show you what exactly is happening now. In your introduction, you've spoken about the voting, and I'm sure right now you'll see those queues inside them. Those queues are of the voting delegates. So those people who have been nominated that you have just spoken about are being voted for now as we speak to you. So they vote region by region. So currently it's one region, so I'm not able to see which region exactly because we are here outside. But basically what is happening is that voting is taking place, and we are expecting that once the voting has been concluded, the counting should take something like maybe 2 hours. This is for the 5 positions. You know that the incumbent, the outgoing rather, Sihle Zikalala, is contesting with Siboniso Duma. And then, of course, the issue of the secretary, provincial secretary of Mtumseni, who's up against Begumtolo. So they're quite interesting. As you can see, some of the people are quite interesting here. And I'll just, this delegate here who's just trying to speak as we are speaking, you'll see that he's wearing the Taliban duke. Basically, that is the group that is supporting the chairpersonship of Duma. So versus Sihle Zikalala. So clearly you can see that they're quite excited. They feel they've done enough. I don't know whether they'll be able to speak to us. I see you guys have just cast your votes from the duke that you are wearing. So I see you may have voted for Duma. Am I right?
Duma, yes, as the chairperson. Namaku Kusmelane as the deputy chairperson. Begumtolo as the secretary.
Okay, so what is it that is different about these people? Because these are all your comrades. At the end of the day, it's about the issues of the people. What is it that they will or they have done differently for you to deserve their vote?
The leadership that you are that we have already chosen there will bring change in the politics of KZN, and they are not micromanaged somewhere else in the NEC. They are independent thinkers, and they will work as a collective in the PEC. They won't work through phone calls where they will be told by someone not to do and what not to do, and they will not disband regions. In KZN, all the regions were disbanded simply because if you agree with the current leadership, you'll be disbanded. So the one that we are electing now will unite all KZN people. And 2024, IFP will not even try to contest the ANC.
Okay, what sort of change are you talking about? Because you can change this face and put in this face, but on the ground, if nothing happens, because remember, this is ANC that we are speaking about. We are not talking about different people. No. These are the people you've been voting for all these years.
In terms of numbers, the support, that is the first change. The ANC will gain the ground, will gain the support, because that's the only change that you want. We don't care who leads, we want the person who will be equal to the task, not the one who will praise the NEC and fail to correct the wrong things that have been done there at Lutuli House. We want the leadership that will challenge and confront the wrong things that are happening in our organization.
So we are anticipating the president to come tomorrow. You will welcome him with warm hands?
We will welcome the president. He's the president of the ANC. We love the president. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. We love the president, but here, there will be change.
Well, Iman, you can hear there. So those are the delegates, very, very fired up. Those are the people who want to see change. These are the people who want Sihle and his team out, and they believe that once theirs comes in, so there will be change, as you heard yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly interesting to see, and I suppose heartening in some ways, Mzwandile, that there is a sense of humor. Referring to the duk, though, that's the kafir, which has now become a symbol of Palestinian nationalism, traditionally worn by Arab farmers as a way of protecting them against the heat. But it's a long night ahead. You said that once the voting is concluded, it should take not more than 2 hours to collate those votes and have a result. But is it likely that the voting process itself might be delayed, or are things happening quite quickly?
Well, Iman, it's been quite interesting. In fact, many of what we had thought would happen here hasn't happened in terms of the tensions. First, there are no tensions. Perhaps if you just listen to this delegate now who has just spoken. So the Taliban are seen as not aligned with the current establishment in terms of the NEC. You heard him say we don't want people who will get the mandate from the NEC. We want people who will change. So that may seem to suggest that they are opposed to perhaps the president himself. But when I put that question to say he's expected to come here, they say no, we are only concerned about what's happening here in the province, so we'll welcome him with both hands. So what basically that means, Iman, is that here is the competition, not so much about the issue of tensions. So because they are seeing themselves as competing and they are not necessarily fighting, so the process really has been relatively smooth. The credentials were easily adopted. So we have seen in the ANC conferences, the credentials normally take the entire conference days. We saw in Gauteng, we saw in the Eastern Cape, but that didn't happen here. So as a result, they adopted the credentials. They are voting now, so there's been no hiccup. So we expect that once this process is done, so then the counting will continue, and then after the counting, so the results will be known. So I think before we go to bed or in the early hours of the morning, next morning, so we will know who is the leadership in this province.
Yep, and my sympathies with you, Mzwandile, and the team. It's going to be a long night for you as well, just keeping tabs on everything and bringing us the very latest. Appreciate you. Keep safe.